To it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have known the individual who will be giving us the opening remarks for many, many, many years. And I'm always astounded and I'm always in awe of how he's able to bring cultures. He's able to bring individuals. He's able to bring countries together in his very unique way of propagating unity. But more so, ladies and gentlemen, highlighting the power and the importance of culture and heritage and tradition and never letting go of it, because it is essentially who you are. With a round of applause and asking you to please be up on your feet, please bring to the podium my great father, our great uncle, the powerful leader of the Ashanti, the king of Ashanti. Ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome His Majesty Otumfuo Nana Osei Tutu II with a resounding Guba Awards 2025.
Breaking news, guys. I know to some people this is no longer news, but it is with great joy, excitement, eureka, that I, your favorite, asantehene, come with this great news of what the presence, the action, the honor, the respect, the greatness, the power of our great asantehene, the great king of Ashanti, is doing for us. So recently, in case you're not following up or you have not been following up, the king has recently honored the invitation from the Caribbeans in Barbados, and currently as we speak, he is there. And as a result of his visit, it has really opened doors of free visas between Ghana and Barbados. And at the time while he is still there, he was being honored, respected and placed in the highest places where you would only recognize and see great kings as he is. When I tell you guys that the king of Ashanti is the greatest king in Africa, I still get people who come to say, no, don't say that. But tell me, then again, where have you seen a king in the whole wide world, in the continent of Africa, that is this respected, well-placed, valued, powerful, intelligent, and of all very, very humble? Like in all he is and more, he's still humble. And not just humble, peaceful, a custodian of culture, peace, traditions, name it, not just in Ghana or within Ghana, but within continents, within countries in the continent of Africa. Guys, I would love you to take a look at everything that has been up and trending, that has played out of late in his visit. Some are being spoken in Ghana Tree language, while some in English language. And I will need you to take your time, watch patiently to the end for my sake. Your own sister, your asantehene. Kindly like this video for me. Share your thoughts, most importantly, down in the comments. Share this video as well, for most people to see it. And stay subscribed at the end of the day if you like it on this channel. For those of you wondering which channel is this is strictly dedicated for Ghana because of the love, connection, and deep-rooted love I have for Ghana. Right now, let's take a look at this video in a blueprint, and I will be right back.
To it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have known the individual who will be giving us the opening remarks for many, many, many years. And I'm always astounded and I'm always in awe of how he's able to bring cultures. He's able to bring individuals. He's able to bring countries together in his very unique way of propagating unity. But more so, ladies and gentlemen, highlighting the power and the importance of culture and heritage and tradition and never letting go of it, because it is essentially who you are. With a round of applause and asking you to please be up on your feet, please bring to the podium my great father, our great uncle, the powerful leader of the Ashanti, the king of Ashanti. Ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome His Majesty Otumfuo Nana Osei Tutu II with a resounding Guba Awards 2025. Warmly welcome Asantehene, as we like to call him over back at home in Ghana. Please keep that warm applause coming in. He has worked tirelessly not only to bring us together, but also to highlight the importance of our oneness and our unity. Long may you live. Long may you live, Asantehene. You are warmly, warmly welcome, Your Royal Majesty.
Democratic destiny. The theme gives us three categorical imperatives. We must connect, build, and renew. The first important step of our mission is to connect, to break the divide between Africa and the African diaspora. This means fostering stronger ties, not just at the governmental level, but through academic exchange, cultural immersion, and people-to-people interactions. We must break the silence that has surrounded our shared history and actively strive to build the unbreakable bridge that has been missing for centuries. Acknowledging and confronting our painful past will enable us to overcome the trauma caused by enslavement, colonialism, and its attendant racism. We all recognize that getting to the mother continent from the Caribbean and vice versa can be complicated, with travelers often forced to fly into Europe, while a direct flight can take a shorter time and will be more convenient. No wonder our gracious host, the Honorable Mia Motley, who has rightly and proudly described herself as the daughter of Africa, has called for the construction of air and sea bridges between Africa and the Caribbean. Where there's a will, there's a way. God helps those who help themselves. The import of these two common sayings is that with determination and perseverance, we can overcome what may seem insurmountable challenges. An initiative like the direct flight from Africa and the Caribbean, which is long overdue, can turn geographic proximity into genuine connectivity and promote cultural tourism. And that is why the direct flight from Accra to Bridgetown, organized in connection with Global Awards 2025, deserves our commendation and emulation. We can also focus on education by utilizing our educational institutions to build bridges and educate people about Africa within the Caribbean communities and vice versa. And I think this afternoon I've been introduced to two of them here, bridging the gap there. It is also possible to promote cultural collaboration by facilitating partnerships between cultural figures such as musicians and writers. It should be possible for us to encourage diaspora-led initiatives through supporting community-based knowledge sharing led by the diaspora in areas like health, agriculture, and finance. I commend this university for contributing to driving this process, for recognizing what we must reconnect in Africa, with Africa, the mother continent, not just in intellectual engagement, but as nations and people. If you all favor reconnecting Africa and the Caribbean, then we should have the courage to admit that the construction of the bridge constitutes an unfinished bridge, which we must hurriedly complete to enable us to translate the partnership into reality for the mutual benefit of our people. Let me confess that I keep returning to the Caribbean islands, albeit always in response to invitations extended to me, simply because I see myself as someone on a larger mission, the noble mission of contributing my quota towards fostering, broadening, and cementing the growing relations between Africa and the Caribbean and between Africa and its diaspora. This mission, as we all recognize, is not going to be an event. It may be a long and tortuous process, so let us rekindle the spirit of our forefathers who, in the face of oppression, humiliation, and indignities unparalleled in history, showed resilience, determination, and perseverance to survive and thrive. Viewed from a historical perspective, the underlying current of the theme is not new. We can recall that in reference to the experiences of the slave trade, oppression, and racial discrimination, some famous individuals of African descent, such as Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King Jr., all advocated that Africans and, in extension, all people of African descent need to reconnect and, if possible, join a giant sovereign union of a single socio-political, economic, and cultural identity. They emphasized that the need for African descendants to work together to transform the paradigm of centuries of discrimination and leverage a continental political union in international relations. As if to follow up on this grand vision of African unity, in 2006, the Constitutive Act of the AU was amended to include the African diaspora as the sixth region of the continent, the others being Central, Eastern, Northern, Southern, and Western regions of Africa. The Act defines the African diaspora to include the people of African region living outside the continent, irrespective of their citizenship and nationality, and who are willing to contribute to the development of the continent and the building of the African Union. The article manifests an official recognition of the role of African diaspora irrespective of historical migration as either forced or voluntary, pre-slave trade, slave trade, post-slave trade, and modern migration in advancing the Pan-African philosophy through the development or rebuilding of Africa and African heritage. Already, some Afro-pessimists and cynics have described the AU's sixth region as a coded language for what they call Africans who have migrated and are living outside Africa. We should not allow ourselves to continue to be divided. For me, this is not a mere symbolic designation. It is a living and breathing opportunity for political, economic, and cultural revival. We should leverage the AU designation and initiative to connect Africa and its diaspora, irrespective of where they are, when and how they got to their present location. By our calculation, this will amount to about 350 million people of African descent, which translates into the third biggest population in the world if all the African diaspora could be considered as living in one country.
Without cost to those using it once it is for charity. So the grounds take on an entirely different perspective. And in this month of independence, it will be relit, so to speak. And the Barbadians will come here and enjoy a lot of cultural activities, as many of the folks will enjoy this afternoon during the global reception that is to be held very shortly. So, including this kind of scene, which is a Barbadian artist, but this is a traditional Barbadian vernacular home of yesteryear. But we try to encourage architecture to hold on to some of the vintage of the veranda-type jalousie windows, it's called. We also ask people to revert to the pitched roof, because these are safer in hurricane times than the flat surfaces. So history is kept alive. Yes, yes. Court called stick licking. I believe on the continent it may have a different name, but
yeah, the moon as I said, I'm carry home made an anonymous Eddie Ebremo, and necessary at a for Yatanasi. Nay, I decay ever to many say asantehene, said one anonymous metia when nature would do many at Barbados. Barbados or more econo, a Nansa Aquanstra, and a asantehene war crop, and nunti Nansa Aquanstra muno, or could do ye no. Prime Minister will walk through the sword on a Sabian William Sono will be share no general, a baba, a man no eco sign, a face textbook moo, or we no, and a Sabi. Said he is a dear what near to true, a war mining moon, a mammy and money moon, or more than a different fair. Now, Mammy Uncle share video necessary is a coy and a bright euro Santahene, a drew hormone said dear, once you no a fire. Ya ba, near her Bissia, a ya or Maya euro Santahene, a comu Kakudina and Sanam, yes, young one dear Kaka, Kaisedino, a mammy Fozia.
welcome to our report into Barbados. The second time this year, I'm Jessica O'Neill, I'm Mr. Molly's director. We have Donna Ford, the Director General of Space and charitable exercises without cost to those using it once it is for charity. So the grounds take on an entirely different perspective. And in this month of independence, it will be relit, so to speak. And the Barbadians will come here and enjoy a lot of cultural activities, as many of the folks will enjoy this afternoon during the global reception that is to be held very shortly. So, including this kind of scene, which is a Barbadian artist, but this is a traditional Barbadian vernacular home of yesteryear. But we try to encourage architecture to hold on to some of the vintage of the veranda-type jalousie windows, it's called. We also ask people to revert to the pitched roof, because these are safer in hurricane times than the flat surfaces. So history is kept alive. Yes, yes. Court called stick licking. I believe on the continent it may have a different name, but it's almost like a dance as they work with the stick. It's not a violent thing, but it's a very artistic way of working with the sticks. We call it stick licking. Stick licking.
You see that the spirit that lives on with us, and the fact that it's been around us for long, it's so we are responsible for seeing life and all right.
Barbados island kura sebi egu eposo anase ehye esuo eni esuo entemu na won a mote honom no Western Indians na se ye kan India fo ne fa no mu bi na won ete honom a na afen so Caribbeans no ebi nso ewo ho na American fo so ete honom pa na ebi mpo emansa ya nhwehwemu mpo kire se wo kra US passport na se valida se wo ko Caribbeans anase se wo ko Barbados wo hia se wa ko visa anase wa ko pese ubenya kwanyako wo tamo passport na enu ane se wo kro abakosam kire se omo Eastern Caribbeans no wo 1627 mu no na English abrofo no ebedi wo so seze King Charles ngrofo na omo ekodi Barbados fo so omo edi won so no sebi na 1833 na wo nu so manyi omo fa hodie krampo awie na afa nso so nhihye foforo ba ya eno so esado omo ekoka sebi enkwasom ho ebiemu omo ka omo tisi nkwasom mo som English broni akokopem 1966 ansa na sebi won eje wo ho edi efiri nkwasom mu na afa nso so no omo ebeka ye Commonwealth ho na ansa na omo bedi omo ho prekopakra no eze Ghana yade ye ho ananse won so made omo ho na enso so na nkratasem ene bibia ne so mu famu no na omo go so hye English broni ase efiri 1966 ebepem 2021 afei na Barbados for etimi age omo ho efiri nkraso mu a sesei womo Republican country na eno che omo do omo kwankwaso mu no akere yie pa fi 1627 ebepem 2021 ansa na won etimi age wo ho na fa hodie ne bae no na sa ya enije akono kra eno nti womo hyehye soronko edi kan kra asabi be mfia ahanan ekere ni no o makeka wo mu abomu se de be ya bibiman ene amaman hodo a mo Caribbeans America see ye kan American so a na bibifo no ene doso na afen so ye Western world no ene Asian countries no o mu nyina so ebetimi ababeka wo mo ho amomada wo mo ne mapa ene ne ma ye mo danso na di amawiase nyina etimi ehu no se de be ya se won so wudi dwa wo be hu se bibia wo se wodi wani kire no se bi Barbados na ne mo mo ho no so edoso.
Wow. Oshe baddest. It's been a while I used this slogan, guys. What is more beautiful, amazing, and very interesting to watch as this? So the moment when the king was called up on stage, tears dropped my eyes. I was so emotional because, guys, I thought and imagined how well the king would have gone, in life. To be alive today to witness this great day. It is not one thing to be alive, and it is another thing to be privileged. And it's another thing again to be, a blessing to generations that will result to this amount of honor and the respect that has been given to the king in terms of awards, in terms of compliment, in terms of homage. Call it whatever you can think of, to the point that his presence, his actions, his existence is opening doors for the entire Ghana. So if you think the king is just representing the Ashantis alone, no, he is representing the entire country, Ghana, the great motherland, Ghana, its citizens cut across the 16 regions of Ghana. And this is not to brag about it or make anyone feel bad, but telling you nothing but the truth, raw and undiluted, that the great king of Ashanti, King Nana Otunfo Osei Tutu II, is the greatest I've ever witnessed as a Nigerian in the history of my life. Maybe there are, that is for them. But for me, I choose and I recognize the great king of Ashanti as my best, my one and only favorite. Watching the scenes being displayed, watching the cabinet members even come in or travel out with their trumpets, their horns and everything. While I was hearing that, I was like, wow, they still carry the culture everywhere they go. That is the resilience, that is the pride, that is the identity of the great people of the Ashanti from the motherland Ghana. Everywhere they go, everywhere they enter, doors opens. They carry their pride, they carry their culture, they carry the tradition, and in all, humility personified is whom the Ashantis are. For those that I have come in contact with, I can beat my chest to tell you that the Ashantis are the best people I have ever seen, but don't dare them. If you dare them, they are the greatest warriors that you can ever imagine. They don't believe in talking much. Action speaks, yes, and that's why it is going on this way for them as the Ashantis. They don't go looking for trouble. They are peaceful people, well cultured, oriented, even to the point that if you don't know, let me give you an expo a little bit of conconsa that the Ashanti women are so respected and valued alongside other tribes, right? But the Ashanti women are so respected and valued that their men do not dare lay a finger on them. If you do so, you will receive woto, right? They know how they deal with their women that wants to go overboard. But at the end of the day, no matter what their women as wives, as sisters does to you or do to you, you don't lay your hand on them. And that is respect and value. A country and a people that values and respect women tells you that they will go far and they will do well in life. And in all, you see that their women are well groomed, well cultured, very domesticated. That is why they make good wives alongside other Ghanaian women. Oh yes, so and to the men, they are well cultured, responsible, and respectful to their family. No matter whom they are, how much they have, how far they go in life, they are still humble and remember where they are coming from. They don't come back behaving arrogantly, stupidly, or foolishly because they have made money or made wealth. No, they will still humble themselves before their parents and respect their parents because that is true character, upbringing, and good grooming, right? Exactly. See, I've given you few tip of an iceberg. This and more is what you're going to be listening to and finding out about the great Ashantis, the Ghana culture, the Ghana tradition, the Ashanti people, the great king, the queen mothers, name it, as we proceed in this series and episode of the Ashantis, right? Long live the king, long live the great king, King Nana Otumfo Osei Tutu the second, asantehene of the great Ashanti kingdom. Long live, may your days be longer than you can ever imagine, in strength, in health, and in wealth. Guys, did you see the regalia of the great king? All the carats of gold being displayed all over him, embedded on him. Do you see the great kente attire? Nobody is talking about the Ghana kente that is making history and has made history and will continue to make history all over the world. Like it has been, captured and, branded for its own known and noted one and only fabric, the great kente, that is traveling around the globe, around the world, making history and making names for the Ghanaian people and the Ashanti people, right? Exactly. I can go on and on. Like you've heard, the Barbados and the Caribbeans have honored free visa entry between Ghana and the Caribbeans and Barbados, and a lot more relationship, bilateral communication agreement, oneness, tradition, culture, and heritage have been displayed and will continue to flow between Ghana and this country, Barbados, down there in the Caribbean. Exactly. And I'm so privileged, excited, and very, very happy to share this with each and every one of you. That's why I want to make the world know that this and more is what Ghana and Ghanaians have as the Ashantis and other regions and tribes of Ghana going on with them. So if you are an African and you need to know more, or you don't even know these kind of things are going on, now you know. So what do you think at the end of the day? And where are my Ashanters? Kindly show to rub yourself in the comment section. Tell me as well what you think about this whole initiative, bilateral relationship and communication between the great king, the Ashantis, and the Caribbeans and the Barbados. Tell me in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Then at this point, if you are yet to like this video, come off it, Charlie. What are you waiting for? Encourage your sister here, your asantehene of the great Ashanti kingdom, by hitting on the like button, share this video, and stay subscribed for more interesting videos like this, right? You don't want to make this your last, do you? And with that, I will say this is what we have for today right here on this channel. Keeping it real, happy, safe, and blessed, and I will see you in my next one. Ciao, ciao. Mwah.